and we'll see if we can solve the problem. But if you don't come forward and let me know, then there is nothing I can do for you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, court is calling 2021 CR 0245, State versus Joe Angel Gutierrez. Excuse me. All right, we're on the record. Joe Angel Gutierrez, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Orlando Way for the defense.
All right, and are you Joe Angel Gutierrez? You need to
Yes,
speak up.
yes, ma'am.
All right, did you review the documents entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amended Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Joe Angel Gutierrez who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 0245 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams on April 15th, 2021 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, the same, but rehabilitated.
All right. State?
Violation of condition number 2 on or about the 6th day of December 2023 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Joe Angel Gutierrez has been in there drug testing out there by the supervision officer in violation of condition.
All right, to that, how do you plead? True or not true?
He's asking. I didn't hear.
All right, that's
I don't
okay.
remember right now.
So here's the thing. The state has read the allegation. State, if you could read the allegation again, please.
Violation of condition number 2 on or about the 6th day of December 2023 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Joe Angel Gutierrez did then and there fail to submit to drug testing as directed by the supervision officer in violation of condition number 2.
All right, and I'm sorry, what page is that on of the motion?
Judge, the one I have is only one.
Page 5, Judge.
Let me see. Page 5. All right, to that, how do you plead? True or not true?
Not true.
All right, state.
Violation of condition number 5 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Joe Angel Gutierrez did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of May, August, September, and November of 2023, and January, February, and March of 2024 in violation of condition number 5.
And how do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
State.
Violation of condition number 15U on or about the 22nd day of April 2024 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Joe Angel Gutierrez did then and there fail to verify attendance and or completion of the parenting classes with compadre y compadre in violation of condition number 15U.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
The state calls
With regards to the other allegations?
violation of condition number 5 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Joe Angel Gutierrez did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December of 2024 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may call your first witness.
The state calls Carrie Brown.
Any objection to the witness appearing by Zoom?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Officer Brown, if you could unmute, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record. If you'll state
Carrie
your name
Brown.
for the record.
Carrie Brown.
All right, state.
Miss Brown, how are you employed?
I work for Bear County Adult Probation.
And how long have you been doing that?
Almost 10 years.
And what are your duties as a probation officer with the Community Supervision Department?
I have numerous duties. One of them is to see my defendants on a regular basis, make referrals to programs.
Okay, and were you assigned a defendant by the name of Joe Angel Gutierrez?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and when did you become his supervision officer?
April 5th, 2023, his case was transferred to me.
Okay, and once you receive that case file, Do you give any instructions to the defendant?
He saw his previous officer and that officer gave him instructions to report to me on, I believe it was May 3rd of 2023, and he failed to do so.
Okay. And then did he report to you for May of 2023?
He did not.
Did he report to you for August of 2023?
He did not.
Did he report to you for September of 2023?
No, he didn't.
And did he report to you for November of 2023?
No, he didn't.
And are you currently still his supervision officer?
I am.
Okay. Did he report to you in January of 2024?
No, he didn't.
What about February of 2024?
No,
And what about March of 2024?
he did not.
Just one second. What about April of 2024?
No,
May 2024?
no, ma'am.
June of 2024?
No,
July of 2024?
no, he didn't.
August of 2024?
No, he did not report in August.
September of 2024?
No, he didn't report.
What about in October of 2024?
No, ma'am, he did not.
November of 2024?
No, I didn't meet him in November.
And what about December of 2024?
No,
Okay, so when is the last time that your department has that the defendant reported?
the last time I saw him, let me double check, was December 13th. I'm sorry, December 6th, 2023.
Okay, and what did you give him instructions to report to you on that day?
Yes,
Okay, and did you give him instructions to report for the next month?
I gave him instructions to report on December 13th, 2023 to meet with Manager Marino and myself.
Okay, and he did not do that,
No.
correct?
He didn't.
Okay, and while you were his supervision officer, did he ever provide to you any verification that he completed or attending any parenting classes that were ordered by the court?
No, he did not.
Okay, and when you met with him in December of 2023, was he ordered to submit to a drug test on that day?
Yes, he was.
Did he appear and provide that sample?
No, he did not.
Okay. And I guess has the office made attempts to get in contact with him during these periods of time that we've talked about?
Yes.
Can you briefly explain those to the court?
The defendant was ordered 3 field visits a month and the field team went out 3 times a month. They saw him several times. I mailed him letters. I spoke with his wife. I attempted to call him. I sent him text messages. He didn't respond. I
Okay,
take that back. He responded once. And I attempted to call him back and he didn't answer and he didn't have voicemail on his phone and he didn't return my call.
okay. We passed the witness, Your
All
Honor.
right, defense.
Hi, Officer Brown. My name's London Way. I have a couple of follow-up questions for you.
Okay.
You were saying that he failed to report in 2023, correct?
Yes, sir.
And as part of those field, you said that he had a previous officer?
Yeah, he had another officer in April of 2023.
And do you know if that officer ever went to do field visits on him?
I can look.
Can you let us know?
I can't tell if she ever did home visits on him or not.
Okay, and just to clarify, you said that you did 3 home visits a month, or you did 3 home visits last year?
No, he was ordered 3 field visits per month.
Okay, and during those field visits, he was always at home, correct?
No, he wasn't always at home. He was home on occasion, though.
So for example, on the month of January, when there was a field visit, was he there?
January what?
2024.
May I look and see?
Yes, ma'am.
I show that field visit was attempted on January the 9th and he was not there.
What about in February of the same year?
On January the 19th, he was there. On February the 2nd, he was not there. So no, he was not there in January.
What about in March?
In March, yep, March 13th, he was there.
What about in April?
No attempts were made in April. That's when I submitted the violation report in the MTR.
What about in May?
No,
Oh, so anytime after that, no more attempts were made by the probation department to reach him?
after April, no, sir.
Okay, and it's fair to say that the probation department knew where he lived because you had been out to his address multiple times?
Yes,
Okay. And just going back a little bit, we talked about the classes that he could have completed. It's fair to say that he could still complete those classes, right? They're required to be completed by the end of the probationary period, correct?
they're required to be completed when he's instructed to complete them.
Okay, but it's fair to say that he has until the end of his probation to complete them.
Not sure how to answer that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
He was instructed to complete them and he didn't do it.
got it. So, and he completed SATF, right? Substance Abuse
Yes, he
Treatment
did.
Facility. Was that completed successfully?
Yes, it was.
No further questions, Your Honor. Pass the witness.
All right, any further questions?
Just two follow-up questions. Ms. Brown, when a field visit is conducted with the defendant, does that count as him reporting or are they separate duties?
They're separate.
Okay, and so if somebody made a home visit to the defendant, he would still have the responsibility to report to you personally?
Yes, he was reminded during home visits when his next office visit was, and he stated that he understood.
Okay, and can you just briefly explain the process for the field team going out after an MTR violation report is filed?
The field team doesn't conduct visits once the warrant's active.
We pass.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you for zooming in, Officer Brown.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, any other witnesses state?
No.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls Joe Angel Gutierrez to the stand.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can lower your hand. Deputy Laura, could you move them down to the end? All right, state your name for the record.
Joe Angel Gutierrez.
All right,
Can I
defense.
proceed? Thanks, Judge. So, Mr. Gutierrez, you've heard of the violations that were going on right now. Can you explain to the court why you failed to submit to a drug analysis on December of 2023? Mr. Gutierrez, can you explain to the court why you failed to submit to a drug test on December of 2023?
I cannot recall the date or the reason.
So did you complete the substance abuse treatment facility?
Yes,
What did you do in that facility?
we focused on being positive, being drug-free, drug
All right, I'm so
addiction.
sorry. You're gonna have to speak up so that I can hear. And everyone else, could you please whisper?
Drug addiction is chronic, it's progressive, it can be fatal. Self-talk is good in bad times.
Did you complete any courses while you were in the substance abuse treatment facility?
Courses, as of courses, I submitted into a GED placement test. And I completed my hours of community service.
And did you ever start doing the class of compadre?
And no, I was placed on a waiting list on that.
When did you attempt to get into that course?
After I was seeking my aftercare with my second probation officer, after the first one before Miss Carrie Brown, I believe.
And since that time up to today, did you ever get accepted into the program?
Unfortunately, I was unaware. I did not have a cellular device or phone or, but they told me that the waiting list was going to take quite some time.
Okay. So we've heard that you failed to report for the year of 2024. Why were you not reporting?
I was unhappy with myself.
Why were you unhappy with yourself?
I lost a lot of time. What I thought was my support system. I lost my wife for 15 years.
And just to clarify, what do you mean by you lost your wife of 15 years? To clarify, is she deceased or did she leave you? Okay.
When I was inside, I wasn't aware.
And
But I had children.
are you aware that probation is here to be a support system for you?
As the probation, if it's a support system, it didn't really feel like a support system. It felt like the way I was felt like if I was not going to succeed, and I doubted myself. I really doubted myself. I should have been. should have carried myself hard from that. I should have, for my children, for my mother, for my father.
How many kids do you have?
I have six. I
Who-
have,
Who supports those kids?
my ex-wife supports five of them, and the eldest one I have yet to meet. I have a 16-year-old daughter I have not met. Like she has an adopted family, and I was unaware that I was in the neighborhood where she was living. I was aware
What is it that you're asking this court to do for you today?
to judge me by my past, not to judge me by my past. I have a lot of overseers, a lot of teachers, a lot of love that I have yet to share with the world.
Are you asking this court to put you back on probation?
If that would be a consideration, yes, and I feel right with it. Right with it.
No further questions. Pass the witness.
Any questions?
Mr. Gutierrez, so you said that you can't recall why you failed to submit to your drug testing, is that correct?
At the time, I cannot recall at the time.
Okay, so but you did not submit and provide a drug sample, correct?
For Miss Carrie Brown, I did not, but before the first other two probation officers, I did.
Okay. And you said that you did reach out regarding the parenting class and you were put on a wait list, is that correct?
Yes,
But you don't have a cell phone?
I unfortunately was after some time forced to move out.
Um,
And
did you ever provide any documentation to Ms. Brown or any of your other officers regarding that you had been placed on the wait list regarding the class?
to my previous, before the two previous probation officers, yes.
Okay, so how long were you on the wait list for this class?
They did not give me a time, they did not give me, a designated time. They just said I was on a waiting list for quite some time.
And if you didn't have a cell phone, I guess did you ever go and check to see if you had been accepted by them?
I did, and they said that I would not be able to, come in. I'd have to call, I keep calling, and by then my support system had forced me to
Okay,
be homeless.
and even though, I mean, you said that you learned a lot of things at SADF, you were arrested for possession of a controlled substance in January of 2025, correct?
No, ma'am,
You weren't?
no, ma'am.
Okay, so why are you here before the court today?
I would be a productive member of society and cleaning up my neighborhood, and if y'all were to judge me on that, then I would like to say I'm sorry to the court, I'm sorry to my family for not disposing it or discarding it the proper way, but like everywhere else in the world, it could be dangerous in many places. And for.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt you. So you're only before the court because you were placed under arrest, correct? And taken to the Bear County Jail and booked on an offense.
I surrendered myself with Officer Ortiz, and I was being a productive member of society, and I was cleaning up my neighborhood, and that's it.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Any other questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. The court is finding violations 2, 5, 15U, and 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
The state is asking for 12 years in TDCJ. This defendant has absconded from the jurisdiction of his court in 2023. And regardless of his testimony, the only reason that he's here before the court is because he was placed under arrest on a different offense. He never voluntarily surrendered himself, and he never made any efforts to report to probation or comply with any terms of the probation after he was released from SADF. And so for those reasons, we're asking for 12 years.
All right, in defense, what are you
Your
requesting?
Honor, we are asking that this court consider
All right,
replacement.
just a moment. Please stop shaking your head. I'm trying to hear the argument. So here's the thing. You've had your chance to give your testimony. You've given it. I've heard testimony from the probation officer. So right now, it's in my hands to make a decision on whether or not to sentence you, to revoke you, or sentence you to prison, anywhere from 2 to 20 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I apologize.
All right. So,
Your
yeah,
Honor, we are asking this court to consider extending his deferred adjudication or putting him on probation. I want to point out to the fact that he has completed the SATF program. He completed it successfully. He is a victim of circumstance. He doesn't have the support system that a lot of us in this room are very fortunate to have. He stated to the court that when he was in the SATF doing what the court ordered him to do and completed successfully, he gets out. His wife of 15 years decided to leave him. And for a lot of people, that can be very traumatic. It can be very difficult on someone to try and get away from that. So it led him into making poor decisions. I mean, we're gonna admit to that. We're not here denying that. He failed to submit to his drug testing, and through that, I mean, we heard that he became homelessness. He is indigent. I am court appointed to him. He didn't have the means to come and maybe check in. And even though it's his responsibility to show up to court because the court and his probation officers have probably told him numerous times, he was at his house for a period until, like he said, he gets kicked out. So for the foregoing reasons, Your Honor, we're asking for this court to consider mercy or leniency, put him back on probation or extend his deferred adjudication, and if anything, give him a lesser sentence if the court was to send him to TDCJ.
all right, and if you will go with him, the trial court certification? In my understanding, this is not his first motion to revoke, is that correct? Mr. Gutierrez, I want you to know that I've listened to your counsel's argument. The court is going to grant the motion, find you guilty. The court will revoke. The court will request therapeutic community. The court will give him credit for any time served, credit for any time served for inpatient treatment that was successfully completed, and the court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, you have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, I understand. We can go off the record. I understand that there are issues that happen in people's lives, right? But in this court, what I can tell you, your defense counsel will tell you this. I always say, if there's an issue, something going on in your life, let the court know, and we'll see if we can solve the problem. But if you don't come forward and let me know, then there is nothing I can do for you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Here.
White ones for your feet.
7 feet up there, sir.
And what is your client's name?
Johnny De La Rosa. The file should be up there.
No, it is. I'm trying to find it. Yes. All right, today is plea deadline date.
Yes, Judge, I've conferred with the state. They made a new offer. I extended it to my client. He's going to reject the offer. We're going to request a trial setting,
All right, do you want a bench trial or jury trial?
jury trial.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial date. State, how long do you expect this to last?
2 days.
All right, 2 days. July 8th, counsel.
That should work.
All right, the jury trial date is going to be July 8th. That's the earliest we can get you in. All right, the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements after today without good cause. Otherwise, you'll have to appear. I'm saying, otherwise you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And you'll need to be brought over dressed for trial on July 8th. Counsel, if there's an issue with the clothing exchange, just let the court know.
We'll get it taken care of, Judge.
All right, thank you.
And Judge, I was on my other one. I have a case I'm on in the 290th. It's a 5-year-old case that the guys drove up from Brownsville
Yes,
that we're going to be doing a plea on. Can we recall this case for tomorrow morning on Mr.
Yes.
Zapata?
yes,
That way I can have a chance to confer with him.
yes. All right, Norma, on Zapata, if you recall that for tomorrow. Oh, you're back.
I have enough of it, haven't
Yeah. All right, so who is on the motion to revoke?
It's me, so.
Same.
Okay. All right, we'll start with the motion to revoke. Court is calling 2023 CR 7903, State of Texas versus Frank Torres. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Samantha Lynn Brown for the state.
We're on the way for the defense.
All right, on this one, did you do a trial court certification?
The motion to revoke, I'm sorry.
All right, if you could grab that. And then I'm assuming on the other one, requests, we're off the record. Are you guys going to request a PSI or do? Okay, all right.
And we are gonna request that the court give us the fastest date possible. It's the court.
Well, it's 8 weeks, but if you all want to just bring in witnesses to testify on this behalf and waive PSI, we can do it that way.
We want a PSI.
It's going to be 8 weeks. Can I have a PSI date, please? Counsel, the earliest date is going to be April 14th. And that's nothing to do with the court.
Let me make sure I'm not in trial that day.
Okay.
I might be in trial on the 226, but if the court can I can be here first thing in the morning. We can do the sentencing then.
Yes,
If that works.
yes, we
We
can.
have a trial, so that works best for me.
Okay, awesome. And I'll take you all up first, before I call docket, if everybody's here before docket.
Okay.
Okay. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 7903 State versus Frank Daniel Torres. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Samantha Lynn Brown for the state.
Love
Defense.
to wait for the defense.
And are you Frank Torres? All right. Did you review the motion to revoke? I'm sorry, did you review the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision? And also the motion to revoke community, just one second. Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it? Are you the same Frank Torres who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 7903 for the offense of assault, impeding breath or circulation on June 24th, 2024 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, state is proceeding on violation of condition number 1, that on or about the 7th day of November 2024 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Frank Torres committed the offense of online solicitation of a minor in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State-
You're
state-
pleading true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Stated further alleging that on or about the 5th day of November 2024 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Frank Daniel Torres did then and there fail to attend, comply with all rules, regulations, instructions, and financial agreements as directed by the court and or supervision officer and or head of the authorized personnel of the following counseling education programs, the state accredited battery intervention prevention program in violation of condition number 20.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, ma'am.
And state waives and abandons the violation of condition number 2.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violations 1 and 20, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 8 years in the prison?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 1 and 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violations 1 and 20 true. And the court will take up sentencing on April 14th, 2025. Next, we're moving on to cause number 2025 CR 001135. Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Torres, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
State moves to waive and abandon counts 2 and proceeding only on count number 1, Your Honor.
No objections, Judge.
All right, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You're charged by indictment with online solicitation of a minor sexual conduct. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. If the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your community supervision were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow you. I'm sorry. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Torres, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand according to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 20 years in the prison. There's a $5,000 fine. State opposes your applications. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 7903. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance, and the state may request additional terms if probation is granted. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence.
State offers states exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, did you review state, you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witness statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. This will be set for sentencing on April 14th. Do you need a TAP evaluation?
Yes.
All right, this will be,
Well, also we can maybe see if he can be evaluated for veteran treatment court as well. I don't know if the-
Alright.
I don't know if the court does that.
I'll have him evaluate, but my understanding is Veterans Treatment Court will not accept him with this charge.
I believe that from what I was reading, they would not accept that he had like a record of it. But if anything, we can at least try.
All right, we can do a referral to Veterans Treatment Court. All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further from the defense.
All right, thank you.
Judge,
Yes.
I'm sorry, on the MTR, I need to correct something on the record.
All right, just give me 1 second. Could I have that file back? All right, we're back on the record in 2023 CR 7903.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I had read violation of condition number 20 earlier for the violation of not completing VIP. It's actually violation of condition 14G.
All right, to 14G, how do you plead?
You're true, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Have a seat, sir.
I believe it's also Luis Rivera as well. It's
Yes.
yes, Judge.
All right, where are we on this case?
So in reference to the burglary of building cases, Judge, the discovery does look intact. However, he was recently indicted a couple of weeks ago on a robbery charge. So the defense is respectfully requesting time to delve into that case. It is a much more serious case to make sure there's no discovery issues, Judge. She'll be requesting one final discovery setting to go over that new robbery case, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if I can have a 30-day reset on Luis Garcia, please, for discovery.
March 27th.
That'll work, yes, Judge.
All righty,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome. Hello.
Judge.
Hi. So so what is happening on this case?
We're entering a plea.
Okay,
We got all the paperwork in. She's pleading on a criminal trial division case and they're dismissing a family violence division case.
all right. Court is calling 2024 CR 007292, State of Texas versus Angela Redwine. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Jason Gearhan, Your Honor.
defense?
John Kuntz for Miss Redwine.
And are you Miss Redwine? All right, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
We have, Your Honor, and yes, we did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? You're gonna need to speak up. Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged by indictment with burglary of a habitation force? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Very much so.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes and yes.
Ms. Redwine, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? I'm sorry, just one moment.
Sure.
Please that and that. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is recommending community supervision. They're taking in consideration 2024 CR 5433. And there's to be restitution, if any, to Andrew Garcia. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Judge.
State?
It is Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Did you, outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours community service restitution, no contact with Andrew Garcia, and parenting classes. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
State exhibit number 1 is attached.
We reviewed it and have no objections, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? All right, off the record for a moment. Deputy Laura, could you let the jurors know to come back at 1:45? Thank you. All right, we're back on the record. Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, we would request that you follow the plea bargain agreement. And I know there's a TAP evaluation. My client has requested that that she begin her probation today and she will report to any appointments that she needs to, but she would appreciate it if the court would consider allowing her to be released.
All right, so what was going on with you that day?
I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go and I was really just trying to find somewhere.
So, I mean, why does that result in you going into somebody else's
Went
apartment?
into the wrong apartment and it was some mishap.
So how often have you been using before you were taken into custody?
Using I had already been clean for like 6 months.
All right, so here's the thing. Now's the time for you to tell the truth. If you had been using in the past, it doesn't impact your probation because you were not on probation. So you need to be honest with me
No, I was
because
clean.
I'm trying to figure out what conditions to give you.
No,
right.
I have been clean for 6 months.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. And I'm sorry, how many children do you have?
I have 5 children.
And what are their ages?
1, 20, 11, 7, and 3.
Wait, 21, 20,
Mhm.
11?
7, and I have a 3-year-old.
And where are the 11, 7, and 3-year-old?
Well, the 3-year-old is the one I had lost. I lost rights to him. He's with family, and the 11 and 7-year-old is with my sister-in-law.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Sentence you to 6 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's a $1,500 fine that'll be probated.
Thank you, Judge.
Take in consideration 2024 CR 5433. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, 120 sober meetings in 120 days upon release. There's going to be TAP evaluation and a referral to felony drug court in custody. Follow all recommendations. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. 100 of those hours will be deemed satisfied upon the completion of parenting classes. How far did you go in school?
To the 10th grade.
All right. The remaining 100 hours will be deemed satisfied upon obtaining your GED or any type of trade school. You understand? You can either better yourself or either they'll have you picking up trash along the highway. You understand?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be field visits one time per month until further notice. Proof of employment within 45 days of release. No employment as a home healthcare provider in the healthcare field or with minors. There's to be no contact with minors. I'll consider changing that once you've started your parenting classes. There's to be restitution, if any, and no contact with Andrew Garcia. And did you know anyone at that location, the apartment that you were seeking to stay in, anyone in that apartment complex? All right, there's to be no contact with the apartment complex located at 7323 Snowden Road. That's SNOWDEN Road. And it's 78240. Probation, is there anything else with regards to sentencing? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, we can go off the record. To be successful in this court, especially when you have drug addictions, honesty is key. Your attorney will tell you if somebody calls probation in this court and say, I'm about to use, I have no control over my addictions, I need help, guess what? That 9 times out of 10, they're not going to file a motion to revoke, and they're going to try to get you some help. But nobody can help you if you are dishonest and not being truthful. You understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's here on Anthony Cochran? What page is Anthony?
She's a cosmetologist. Let me text her right away.
All right, counsel, in this case, where are we on discovery?
So far I've gotten all the discovery from what I can.
All right, and state, were you able to tender an offer?
Yes, we did. And I would like the chance to address the court.
Yes.
Yes, my client has been in jail for 160 days. This is an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. We were discussing the plea this morning, but I'm getting some appropriate evidence that I need to look at with respect to whether or not he could plead to begin with. Your Honor,
Whether or not what?
whether or not I should, it will change my mind about some things
Okay.
before I let him plead. And he said the same thing. What I'm requesting, Your Honor, is that with him being in 160 days, we would ask that the court give him a PR bond. We didn't know what was going to happen this morning. And like I said, 160 days, and this is a case that's holding him there. We would ask that the court consider conditions on PR bond.
All right, so did you follow motion, counsel?
No, I did not, and I can go home and follow that.
All right, and
I'm
he'll
going
need
through
to,
the office, excuse me.
all right, thank you. And he'll need to be interviewed for a PR bond before I will grant a PR bond.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Ferguson, if you can recall this Thursday for plea deadline date. All right, is there anything else?
We'll be back on Thursday. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll file my motion this afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Meredith, thanks.
Okay. Court is calling 2024 CR 4065, State of Texas versus Crystal Molina. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Nicole Thornburg for the state.
Defense?
Monica Anna Guerrero for defendant.
And are you Miss Molina?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea to count 2 of no contest. The state waived counts 1 and counts 3. According to the plea bargain agreement, there's no application for deferred adjudication, and the state is recommending community supervision. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I think on this case, the defendant was to pay half of the restitution.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant, we spoke last week. I was told she had the money last Monday. As of today, she no longer has the cash for the restitution in her possession. We have, the money is coming from family members who are helping her. This morning, we're waiting on a deposit into our trust account, so that we can ensure that that can be deposited with the court.
All right, I'll see you all back at 2 p.m.
If I may also say, we would want the money in our trust account, we'd want that to make sure it's cleared. So I don't know that at 2 p.m. today.
So
that
does
would
she
be-
have a check?
She doesn't have a check or a cashier's check. Not today. We've been scrambling, trying to get that money to the court today. The
So
person who's providing the money is in California. And so it's been a little hard.
So I don't understand why, we can go off the record. I don't understand why a few days ago she had the money and now she doesn't. Somebody explain that to me.
I can. I had the cash and then I had a falling out with my mom. So I gave her the 3,000 back. And this is where we're at.
All right, so that means that you have 2,000, correct?
Not in my possession.
Well, where is the 2,000?
I sent it back to my brother-in-law and my sister. Because I was just, you want me to be honest, I was just gonna come here with nothing and whatever you sentenced me to.
All right, well, if you come here with nothing, I'm not following this plea bargain agreement. So, and I will tell you all, the last time I'm going to reset this case for money to be given, and this will be the last date for this, otherwise you're going to jury trial because I'm not going to accept the plea. So are they deposited in your account today?
That's what we've been told.
All right, so you're all going to come back on the 27th.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Ms. Ferguson, that's a recall for the 27th.